Imagine standing on a coastline during a massive storm. The waves are the size of buildings, crashing down with enough force to shatter solid rock and swallow entire cities. For centuries, humans tried to fight these monsters with massive stone walls, and for centuries, the ocean laughed, turned those walls into pebbles and swept them away. But then, in 1950, humans created something weird. It looked like a giant toy jack or a four-legged alien. It wasn't a wall at all, yet it did something no wall could ever do. It didn't just stand against the ocean, it broke its spirit. Welcome to the subject history. To understand why this strange concrete shape changed the world, we have to go back to the coast of Casablanca in North Africa in the late 1940s. Engineers were facing a nightmare. They were trying to build a harbor, but the Atlantic Ocean was relentless. They would drop massive blocks of concrete, some weighing 50 tons, into the water to protect the shore. But the next morning, those 50-ton blocks would be gone, tossed around like dice by the power of the waves. The pressure from the water was so intense that it would build up behind the flat surfaces of the blocks and literally blow them apart from the inside out. The engineers were desperate. They realized that if they kept building flat, heavy walls, the sea would always win. They needed something different. They needed a shape that didn't just block the water, but confused it. In 1950, at the Nuremberg laboratory in France, a man named Pierre Dunel and his team had a breakthrough. They stopped thinking about weight and started thinking about geometry. They designed a four-legged structure called the Tetrapod. It looked like a pyramid made of cylinders, but people were skeptical. How could these concrete toys succeed where massive stone fortresses had failed? But this is where things get strange. When they dropped the first tetrapods into the water, they didn't line them up perfectly, they just threw them in a pile. And that's when the magic happened. Because of their four legs, the tetrapods began to lock together. They became a single, flexible skeleton. Unlike a rigid wall that cracks under pressure, the tetrapod pile could shift and move just a little bit. But what happened next changed everything. When a massive wave hit a tetrapod, the water didn't crash against a flat surface. Instead, the round legs split the water. The wave's energy was scattered in a dozen different directions. The water flowed around the legs instead of hitting them head-on. The killer force of the ocean was suddenly drained of its power. The tetrapod wasn't fighting the wave, it was letting the wave destroy itself. Soon, these strange concrete aliens began appearing on every coastline in the world. From the shores of Japan to the beaches of California, the tetrapod became the silent guardian of our civilization. But no one expected the controversy that would follow. As the years went by, some people started to hate them. In places like Japan, thousands of miles of beautiful natural coastline were covered in gray, brutalist concrete. Critics called it the concretization of the earth. They argued that while we were saving our harbors, we were killing the soul of our beaches. Yet every time a massive tsunami or a Category 5 hurricane hit, the tetrapods were the only thing standing between life and total destruction. Today, there are millions of these structures resting beneath the waves. They are the unsung heroes of the modern world, sitting in the dark, cold water, locking arms to protect us from the fury of the sea. They remind us that sometimes to survive a powerful force, you don't need to be the heaviest or the strongest, you just need to have the right shape. If you look at a coastline today and see those giant concrete jacks, you aren't just looking at construction material. You're looking at a masterpiece of human ingenuity that turned the tide in our war against the elements. If this story changed the way you look at the world around you, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. History isn't just about kings and wars, it's about the ideas that keep us safe. Stay curious and stay connected with us here at The Subject History, because history like this should never be forgotten.